So when you look at the world today, you often, you look at the problems that are going on, or you look at the problems in your own community. Sometimes it's overwhelming. It seems like there's an awful lot going on, and it makes us feel, or it makes us think like, I'm only one person, what can I do? Well, one person can do a lot, because the power of one is a very powerful thing, but the power of one multiplied by many is an unstoppable force. You look at the world today and you think, the world's getting so much worse. But really is it? Because 300-400 years ago, if someone came into your town on a boat, they would rape, pillage, and burn your town down. Today, if someone comes into your town on a boat, you sell them things and call them tourists. So, is it that the world's getting worse, or that we're more exposed to what's going on in the world around us? Now, to create change in your own community or in yourself, the one thing that stops a lot of people is fear. The fear of what other people think and what they're going to think about you. But you can't let that stand in the way, because your only concern should be what you think and how you feel about yourself. Another thing that stops people is when people tell you, that'll never happen, that'll never work, you cannot do it. The fear of what somebody else tells you you can or cannot do stops a lot of people. But for example, if you were to tell one of those people that said that to you 20 years ago, you said, I'm going to give you a little black box, I'm going to put it in your hand, it's going to have all the world's information on it. You're going to get all the world's information that's going to be beamed to you from outer space. That person would look at you, say, what the hell are you smoking? You're crazy. But yet, smartphones and Wi-Fi are as prevalent today as they've ever been. And it's a reality. So the things that we know today, we did not know yesterday. And the things that we're going to learn tomorrow, we do not know today. So you have to have a belief in yourself when it comes to that. Another thing is the fear of failure. Have any of you guys ever heard the saying, failure's not an option? Yeah? Worst saying in the world. Because failure is an option. Failure is the best option. Because when you fail, you learn from it. And you gather your strength, and you move on. Now, when you live by that saying that, failure is not an option, you're setting yourself up. Because when you do fail, you will crash and burn, and that's when a lot of people give up. So you have to know that failing is part of the process. Another thing is, in today's world, I have a tool that the generation before me didn't have. I've heard a lot of people say, the generation before us failed. But to me, the generation before me didn't fail. They did the best they could with the tools they had. And much like taking a hammer, you can hit someone over the head with it, or you can build a house with it. The internet works the same way. You can post what you're having for supper, or you can realize that there's people out there not eating supper. The internet is a tool to connect people, gather like-minded people faster than at any other time before us. So it's about using the tools you have, because it's not the tool that's going to make a difference. It's how you use that tool that's going to make a difference. And the last way that I would go about to create change in my own community is to love and inspire. Because have an open heart for everybody. Because somebody doesn't believe the same things you believe doesn't mean you don't have to like them. You may have some of the same goals, some of the same aspirations. Our youth, inspire your children. Because much like a fanatical religious cult or a terrorist organization that straps bombs to kids and gets them to go into groups of people, how do they do that? They know that children are impressionable between a certain age. So instead of teaching them hatred and destruction, teach them love and kindness. And in return, you'll have a more well-balanced, loving, caring, and compassionate human being. But the most important thing to do when you're creating change is remember, you don't have to concentrate on going out there and fixing the world. You have to concentrate on fixing yourself. Because if we all fix ourselves, the world will be a better place. And at the end of the day, if you can think back in time, 10, 15, 20 years, it wasn't only a different time we lived in, it was a completely different world. And when you think ahead in time, 10, 15, 20 years, it won't be a different time, it will be a different world. So you have to ask yourself, what kind of world do you want it to be? Thank you all.